Welcome back to Twist of Fate, a podcast that's going to help you find your inspiration to make your entrepreneurial dreams come true. Because after all, the true American way is to make the world a better place. Today's guest is very special in that he is taking production of ideas to film, and he is Emmy nominated, an Emmy Award winner, and a great guy. Tony Caprio, welcome to...
Thanks for having me, girlfriend. I really appreciate being here.
All right.
Excited.
So you are a producer of content that it comes from both worlds, as we were discussing. Mm-hmm. There is what I define as pure content to bring knowledge to people.
Yep.
And to be specific, if to my audience, I advocate for you to be informed, breaking the fourth wall. If you haven't checked out PBS, public broadcast content, one of my favorites is Frontline. One of the ones that you have won amazing awards is for what you're doing to tell the Las Vegas inner story. So could we start there? Because I want my audience to tune in.
Hi, let's start with Las Vegas. Welcome, of course. And this is
Viva Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas, indeed. So today, I'm here in Las Vegas because my wife had an opportunity to do a show, and she came here, and I went kicking and screaming. I was living in Los Angeles, Hollywood. I was working in Los Angeles and Hollywood. We had COVID. Things started to slow down a little bit. So I was doing a show that was in Atlanta. Not many things were shooting in LA, and they're sure not shooting there as much anymore either. So I said, why not? Let's change it up. I've been in LA 20 some odd years at that point. So I got here, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do while I'm here? I'm producing a show on the road. She's working every night.
Before you move on, I just want to say one thing. You and her share an origin before California. You're both from New Jersey.
Yeah. Well, we met in California.
You met in California, but...
We met backstage at a Comedy Central show I was working at the time, and that was definitely, my wife, Jacqueline Marfucci Caprio, she was on the show as well. We met backstage, and the first conversation...
She performed?
Yes, and so I went, our conversation started with New Jersey. It was just an easy way in, and subconsciously in my mind, I come from a big family. I was always saying to myself, eventually... I want to meet somebody who's not going to make my life difficult. I lived in California. Everyone I knew, my whole life was back in New Jersey. And I was always...
Proud Italian family?
Proud of family. We're both proud of Italian families. And I was worried, man, what happens if I meet someone from Spokane, Washington? I want to be the first person in my family who is not home for holidays. All my siblings married someone with very little family or close by so they can be there for Christmas and Thanksgiving. I actually worried about that. I'm gonna have to split time for holidays. I'm not, when we have time off from work, we're gonna have to split time, coming to. And I met somebody who happened to be from New Jersey, and I'd be lying if I said that wasn't subconsciously in the back of my mind. If this works out, it's gonna be perfect, the perfect match.
Maybe we're meant to be.
Meant to be. So she got, the job of Magic Mike, as a host, and she was fantastic at that type of work. And
smash hit role, it's so weird to see that she got
and she's a stand-up comic, and I was so proud of her, and I wanted her to have something. I had done a bunch of different TV shows, so I was like, let's give it a try. And now my only perception of Vegas is like most people. I'm hungover. After 2 or 3 days, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm broke, tired. making bad decisions, whatever the case may be. And I just wanted nothing to do with it. Cut to we move here and she's working every night and I have nothing to do from 5 to midnight.
Do you think that was like a lot of Californians had that observation of?
I don't think just California, I think the world. Everyone says, they have those memes where it's like what people think living here looks like, what it really is, So I said, okay, we'll move, but I'm not moving near the Strip. I want to move to a nice suburban area, the Summerlin area where I can go for hikes and I can, walk around and not be in traffic. I've done that, not share walls with other people. And so we did that. And every night when she went to work, I would explore. Naturally want to explore all the time anyway. So no matter what city I'm in, so I'd walk around, I'd go to shows by myself, so no, I didn't have to.
That's just beautiful too, like the landscape and everything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to see.
I would go hiking, and I generally love people, so I would meet people, and I would make friends easy. I could show up at a golf course and jump into a foursome, and I have 3 new friends. And so
I already can tell, as you married Jacqueline, you have a great sense of humor. Like you can accept good.
Well, we could talk about being married to a comic and what that means. My philosophy is I don't care what you joke about as long as you're getting paid to do it. You can make fun of that, bro. I'm a big part of those jokes, and I'm fine. I don't ask for anything else. Just make sure you get paid to do it. And so in exploring these people, I'm meeting all these people, all these unique jobs. Oh, this is my wife. We're in a circus together, or we're in Cirque du Soleil, and another person's, I own this restaurant. I started this from a food truck. I did this. I own a fighting league. And so I'm like, wow, all these interesting people. And so I get a call, or I reach out to.
And it's a really close-knit community. I mean,
small, big town.
Hollywood is too, but yes, small, big town. I like that.
Really, definitely a small, big town. So I call up, I call up Vegas PBS because I realized the general manager of the station, Mayor Mazur, she's forward thinking. She took over the PBS station here at Vegas PBS, and I call her and she knows me from my work, in the past, and she's like kind of excited. Hollywood guy moves out here, understands how to do proper production. We meet. She talks about she's had this kind of idea in her head that she wanted to do something different. That was about Vegas. Strangely, you have a Vegas PBS show. They have no show about Vegas. And so kind of went back to the mill, came up with a concept. We call it something called Vegas All In. And it's not so much, the old, you're all in on your chips. These people are all in. And I didn't want it to be about the street. Everybody knows about the street and the glamour. It's just not this show is not, it's not an advertisement. It's not, It's not.
It's about the people.
It's about the people, because
I think
people get overlooked here.
Appreciated about Las Vegas that I see. When you just look at the food options here,
best food city in the world,
100%. And to any of you that visit Las Vegas, get out of the casino buffets, get on DoorDash, and just look at all the ethnic options, all the seafood options that to me represents great American contributions from so many groups. It really alludes to your point that there's a lot more to life.
I don't realize that about it. And I noticed it too. I would go to a ball game, a local, AAA ball game or anything, and even my own neighborhood. You look at it like, oh, I have neighbors of all ethnicities, races, religions, and I was like, that's very Vegas. And you'll you'll talk to a bunch of different people who come in here with you, and they come from all different parts of the world.
I'm blown away.
And
actually,
unique.
And I'm from California, which I viewed to be very diverse, but like you said, a big little town. It's more accessible. A lot of you all know each other. It's so fascinating.
So in doing Vegas All In, it worked perfectly for me. I didn't know anyone when I got here, but I made friends real fast. I got invited to every show. I got invited to all special dinners because people wanted to promote what they were doing, and they also wanted to tell their story. When I started showing people what we were doing on this particular show, they were in love with it. They're still my best friends. They're friends. They're like, I didn't know that Vegas PBS even existed, let alone that it was something for me. That you're telling my story, our story, not the story of a street, a big fountain, a place, all these nightclubs, whatever it is. And so.
It makes sense.
It's like dominoes were falling. Everyone was calling me after a while. Hey,
well, see, PBS is not. We're not talking about a video sponsored by the casinos. We're not talking about special interest funding that. It's public.
Yep.
Twist of Fate podcast will be right back. And now, back to Twist of Fate podcast.
I always say when people say, well, why would you do a story about the girls in fantasy? What does that serve? What's educational about that? Of course, we had to, doctor that up to show as little skin as possible, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever occasion. But what does it serve us by doing a show about food trucks and, these people with these stories? And I said, because these people are us. The goal of PBS as a whole, and we're getting, tortured right now with the current administration and everybody and trying to take away,
Funding.
Yeah. The goal of any PBS station, public radio, public broadcasting, is to serve the community. And so if people ask that question, I say, because those people who are in those shows, who are acrobats, they're our next door neighbors, they stand in line with us at the food store, they work out in the same gym with us, they are us. And there's no better way to get a community together than being proud of what they do and people being proud of what they do. Because when a shooting happens, hashtag Vegas, it's Vegas strong. When neighbors are hurt and need help in crisis, they help strangers. That's because they're proud. They're proud Las Vegans, And I feel weird saying that because I've only been here, almost 3 years, but I feel that, and I feel that in them, and I think that this show shows people who are doing tremendous things, have interesting jobs, have interesting lives, and it makes them proud. It makes people who watch it proud to be in a city with them, and that serves the community. However you want to see that, it's a community-based show.
Let me ask you this. When you finished it, how did you choose to release that, and how did you inform the Las Vegas community that it's available?
Well, we started with the idea that this is a digital show, because we like so many things today. You got it's small bites, the stuff that you're doing. We can only put 6-minute on YouTube clips at a time because no one wants to watch it longer, and then we're just going to compile them all and then make 30-minute episodes for 10, 20 episodes that it is. But that was a little disjointed because you go, I don't mind it. People at the network sometimes are like, well, how do you end up, having barbecue one place and then, at Magic Mike the next night or, this other show. And so we let the community know by social media campaigning, but really this show, it's spread by word. Because
everyone's involved, right?
Everyone's involved. Like small, big town, like we talked about. Yeah. Or big, small town, however you want to say it. Big, small town feel. And someone's like, you got to do the show. I thought they were just going to come in here and talk about my acrobat. We sat down and talked about my passions, my dreams, what I grew up wanting to do, how I ended up here in Las Vegas, and what my dreams and aspirations are past this. And I think, and I've done shows in the past like that. When we're having a real conversation like this, the people like that.
Yeah.
You go on the Tonight Show, and I've worked on these type of shows, and they tell us about your airplane ride. You get 2.5 minutes, make us laugh. It's got to be funny. But this is like we're having a conversation. This is real. And I think we do that, but we cut it quick enough so there's a lot of action and a lot of fun stuff.
If you don't mind me asking, so there's so many different lifestyle, food, like techniques in the video total, like the total runtime. What's your creative process to try to put all these ideas together? I'm just curious, like when you first went to here, you knew that there's this range of things and emotions you wanted to show, but like, do you storyboard? Did you write it out? Like, how do you, like, what is?
Truth be told, whatever I was interested in, right? And that's the beauty of a place like PBS too. You don't have a lot of networks hanging over you and oversight. But I started there, and then I kind of evolved to understanding like, I want to have I want to focus on the past, the present, and the future. People in this city love the past. I mean, it's got a rich history, even though it's not been around as long as a lot of other cities. So when you want to talk of the mob museum, they don't shy away from the mob, running, owning, building this town essentially. So if you tell stories about that, you go to the mob museum, you find people.
Place is awesome.
You find people who are still alive. You talk about what's going on. The Spear, things that are innovative ideas. We go to like Blackfire Institute, which is at UNLV, where they literally make sheets that you can pull off the bed, burn them, melt them, and then put them through another machine and it melts a brand new sheet. Saves, because we have a water issue here, so saves water. You have sheets, glass windows that you can watch TV on. So they're the forefront, paid for and helped by all the casinos to keep the industry going forward. Because at the end of the day, you can gamble anywhere. And that's one thing that Vegas should be commended for, is you can gamble anywhere, but somehow they knew we need to build a place where you can only have an experience like no place else. I can gamble with my phone pretty much most states now, right? And you can go to find a casino somewhere.
A sports book.
But you can't get all of it and come here and see some of the shows that you see and the people.
So you take all this footage. How did you decide to prioritize certain parts and to put it cohesively together? I mean, I know that's your creative art, but that's what I want to share.
Yeah,
about what
I think it's if I stay with what I originally said, like past, future, present, I start and say like, what's something that's got historical aspect to it? What's something that's happening now, and who's doing something that's looking forward? Who's starting the bar that has a even if it's a simple bar, they're doing some type of membership program where it's like a country club for drink makers, but it's something that's not here yet. So it could be anything. And so I try and I always stay with that base. And I also stay with a simple base. Is it uniquely Vegas? You know what I mean? Like there's a barber anywhere. And sometimes I struggle with that because you can find anything anywhere to a certain degree. Like there's a barber, but there's only this barber who lived here. For example, there's a guy who started a car wash here, right? There's a million car washes everywhere. But everyone in this city knows this car wash, and they all been to it.
Right.
But did they know that he used to walk around with a mop and with a bucket and a sponge and ask people if he can wash their cars, and now he's a multimillionaire, right? That's a story that like is uniquely Vegas because it's here, Creatively, I work with some really great people too. I have great editors. I mean, listen, I'm a producer, and I will explain to you what I think that means, but there are editors and there are directors and there are directors of photography that I work with who put my vision or our vision into play.
Question there. Most of those people I'd assume you were working with at Hollywood, but now you're here. But those connections are still there. Those bonds are still there. So you reached back out to the people that you were working with to help you with this.
I actually found all these people are local here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yes, connections in our business is everything. I mean, it is the only thing. And it's like, some of the people who come in here that I know, like I'm a real big believer, and I don't burn any bridges.
You don't. There's many that's highly done.
I appreciate that. And so, yeah, I'll ask advice, but I also, if it's a show about Vegas, a community about Vegas,
you want to
day in Vegas, let's do this. There's a bill on the table right now to get a tax incentive here, which is going to change the industry, build some stages and studios, which hopefully I'm part of. And I think that there's plenty capable people here, which is what is changing about this city. Education and healthcare have been an issue for a long time, because years ago you meet somebody I know who's my age, you meet them and say, my dad parked cars, my mom was a cocktail waitress, they live the regular life. House, nice house, normal life. But now you have entrepreneurs moving here. You talk to people from like Startup Nevada who are dumping money into technology. They're taking them from Silicon Valley or, and so they have families. They need schools. They need education. They need medicine. So it's kind of cool. It's a little bit of I feel like we're on the cusp. It's already millions of people have come here in the last years, but we're still,
I see a change now. Like this, look, my wife and I, when we were broke college kids, 2001, we came to Vegas. Not to elope or anything. We just came to Kenny Young. And none of this was here. Like this backdrop, this beautiful like campus.
My whole neighborhood didn't exist 10 years ago. The whole, technically part of a city, like a region. I'm talking millions of people. Everything seems so fresh and new because of that, and so that's kind of
it. It does. I would agree with you on that.
I miss my friends in Los Angeles and New Jersey, but I also live in a place where people are constantly coming. When I live in LA, no one visited me. I'm here every weekend, and I have to turn people away who are here for business trips,
right,
or some type of convention for work, and I love it. And the reason I love that more than anything is because people come to Vegas to let their hair down, to live their life, to live a life that maybe they're not when they're home. And I get that because I have the, I guess you can say that, I have the luxury of being on an airplane when people are coming here and I just want to go home and I just want to rest and everyone's like, what, boy, we're going to Vegas. But I also get when I'm leaving, the people are quiet as a mouse because they're just like, oh, I'm so tired. And so I think people come here with the idea to have a good time. And when they call me, friends from always, they're from around, my whole journey, I come out and enjoy that with them. And I'm forever etched in their memories of a good time.
Sure.
Right? It's like when my time is gone and I'm no longer here, people are going to look back and say, wow, remember those good times we had with Tommy, and partly because everything we're doing is a good time when they're here.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool.
No, true story. You mentioned the Mob Museum. A close friend of mine and I came to have fun, like your point. But I told him that I had seen some things at Vegas that's interesting enough. I said, let's walk the strip. Like, let's walk all the way downtown, like all the way. And he said, why would you want to do that? I said, well, there's a lot of things to see. And my intent was to take him to the art district because I went one time with my wife and was like, my jaw dropped. Or there's this park that has all these, the train cargo that converted them to like stores and restaurants.
Container park.
The container park. And that's like special stuff. It's like blending cultures. In New York, I think there's a lot of kind of public spaces that are built to help people. But that's where I think a lot of people don't know when you come to Vegas. Like there's more. There's a broader.
It's partly why I did the show I did. Is like I want to show that there's culture.
100%.
And I had no reason to in the beginning. I just it could have been just a job. But I'm like, I'm in it now.
Yeah.
I'm like.
And you won awards for it too.
I'm invested. Yeah. I mean, I love production overall. And I still pitch shows back in Hollywood that are scripted and that are unscripted or movie ideas and TV ideas just because but this just happens to be where I am now. And if I'm going to do something while I'm here and this is where I am, I'm going to do it well and I want to do it well and I also want to serve the community. It has helped me make friends. And it helped me, what I usually do sometimes is after I do a piece, I send it to them before anything goes on air. I know a lot of people don't do that. So I make sure that it's authentic and that it's historically accurate. And then sometimes we do a podcast and talk about it or something. But I can't tell you how many times that they've watched a piece and then turn around and look at them and they're just bawling. Yeah. Because I don't think people look at their lives as a journey. I was born here, I came here, this happened, boom, boom, boom. I had a lot of failures. My business, fell apart. COVID came along and I could no longer do this and I had to restart and things are great and I love this town. It's just balls, bawling tears. And I'm like, I don't know, kind of feels like, all right, we did a good job, tell their story.
I want to ask this question because in this series of us coming to Las Vegas, we've talked to production assistants, performers, dancers, producers. I see a lot of parallels between producing and being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Most especially in you. would you mind for my audience, maybe you want to tell them in your interpretation, what is the role of a producer? What do you...
That's a good question. Maybe, hopefully my parents are watching so that I don't have to explain this at dinner after 30 years coming home to explain to them. But all right, let's all just imagine a photo, a picture, beautiful picture. Imagine everything you want in it: a beautiful sunset, little house, river running through it, grass, perfect tree, little dog running, whatever it is that your perfect picture is. Now let's also represent that picture. It could be any type of medium, regular, traditional art, television, movie, whatever it is. Now, imagine all of a sudden a million little jagged lines come through it and it becomes a jigsaw puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody takes a jigsaw puzzle and shakes it all out. And now it's an empty canvas. And all the jigsaw pieces are now piled up. And those jigsaw pieces represent a director, a set designer, a makeup artist, a lighting director. They represent all the different things that are needed in order to get that beautiful picture that you had. The job of the producer is to take those pieces and put them in place to build
Gotcha.
the perfect picture.
That's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an easy way to, thank you. I think it's an easy way for me, because that's the way I learned.
Artistically, I was thinking of a stained glass window as you did it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. However it is. And it's so there are different, and I'm talking in those jigsaw puzzles are legal and the money and, setbacks and weather conditions and stories and writing. And, so I'm talking a lot of jigsaw puzzle pieces. And the producer, with the help of other producers, because that's a lot for one person to handle, would find those different people. You watch a movie and you say, I really like the way that one movie I love sounded. So when I do my movie, maybe I'll get the guy who did the sound for that. I love the way that looked and it was like artistically done. And, you can't always get those people, but you want to try and fit those people in to build your picture.
Twist of Fate podcast will be right back.
AI is a very interesting topic. The real American way is to embrace change. It is possible that many of us one day will work for an AI. Get used to it. If I wanted to invest in AI, what's the best way to play it? I don't know if you checked out the AI Drake is a better lyricist than the real Drake. Would you go to an AI church congregation? AI is coming, whether you like it or not. Invest in it. Get jobs in it. Embrace the change.
And now, back to Twist of Fate podcast.
Mind me asking, because you have served out a lot of the roles of the pieces in the picture before you were a producer. Do you think that producing was, I assume you didn't start out to be a producer, but maybe it was like a natural gift?
Well, I'll tell you, this is an interesting story. Like everybody else, we come to Hollywood, they want to be writers, and they all want the accolades. Not everybody. But when I was young, I would love comedy. I loved stand-up comedy. I married a stand-up comic. And I would watch the HBO specials, and I'd watch all the specials that were on. George Carlin was my favorite. And at the end of the credits, I was kind of sad that it was over because I enjoyed it so much. And I would see these names, bunch of names that come through credits that we see all the time on TV and film. There's one particular name that kept coming up. I won't say what it is. But I would say, oh no, he's like the second name that comes up after the guy's name who was actually on the special. And I'm like, I really want to know what he does. I'd like that concept of being my name there. And maybe I was a middle child and I wanted something to say, hey, look at me, everybody, I did it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
you should say, I hope you do take that victory lap every time.
I'm learning.
You're a long way from New Jersey is my comment.
Yeah. Well, this is why this is important. This is also, we can get into a spiritual conversation about manifestation. But that particular name, I said, I want that job, I want that job, I want that job. Cut to all the different jobs I've done, working up as a PA, all the different positions, working to get where I'm going. I'm at Comedy Central at this point, and so all roundabout from doing political stuff that I kind of got burnt out of. Long story short, I'm up for a job.
By the way, Comedy Central, sensational run. So many shows that me and my wife, whether you are in a dark time or a frustrating time, laughing is something that can help you through it.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to turn to the bottle, but I'm saying, a good laugh.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to a comedy club, I tell people, like, and I know that not everybody's funny, and if you go in there with that attitude, it's kind of like watching a movie you know is going to be silly. Just dial it down to be ridiculous. But also just remember those people who are trying to make you laugh or on stage are really bearing their soul. The hardest thing in the world, and I'm sure you've talked to a bunch of comics about that. But I want to go back to this because it's important. That particular name, I'm at Comedy Central. I'm up for a job. I get the job. It comes down to the last people to get the job. I get it. I'm excited. I'm doing I'm producing a comedy special. I find out later, I'm like, who was up for the job? Not just anyone, that specific name, much older on the way out, but manifested that job, his job.
Fascinating.
Right? So it's like, I've always been kind of like a little bit spiritual and a seeker, but I always kept.
The manifestation you're thinking is that young you, long ago, that in some way there's some fate connection.
Yeah, and not
it materialized. You saw
very
it.
specific. That name, I want that job. That's like someone saying, "I want a house," and they put it on their vision board, and they have a house, and they put it up there, and then all of a sudden, they put it in a box, of all those keepsakes and memories. They live their life. They're living in their house, and one day they want to go clean it out. They open it up, they pull it out, and it's like, I'm living in this house. Like this actual house, like if it was that close. So I'm a believer in that, it's not something that happens right away. I do a vision board since those days because I realize it may not happen today. It may not happen the way you want. I put Emmys on a vision board years ago. I put all these different things. And so, it's fun to.
Does that take away the, like when you win an Emmy, like that's a moment in your life. I don't know if you think of that way.
The funny thing is when you get to that point in your life, I think for all these different people, unless you're winning the big primetime Emmys and these people, you're on TV doing that and all that. These Emmys are kind of.
No, don't throttle it off.
No, but I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, I think for a humble person, they say all the stuff that you wanted to at one point, the awards and the accolades and different things like that. Listen, I was going to be, Hollywood guy. I didn't get married till later in life because I wanted to, live the Hollywood lifestyle, and I did. And again, maybe I manifested. I don't want to leave home and not be with someone. Now I go home with my wife to the same place with our families together. There is something to that. I put that in the universe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40, whatever the case may be. And so when you win an award, it's like, it doesn't mean as much. It's like as long as at this stage of my career, all I want to do is work with cool people that I want to be around a lot. I want to make a decent living salary to have a little bit of freedom. And I think today that everybody wants to be an entrepreneur because they think it's going to be easy and they're going to have to do all the things. Social media has gone out of control. And I just want to be proud of what I've done, right? I don't want to,
My personal life experience, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're going to get gut punched a lot. What I see kind of being around you in this conversation, if you're going to be a producer, I sense that you will get gut punched a lot. But it takes vision. It takes perseverance, and I know you have it. So I want to play a game, if you don't mind.
love games. Do it.
I think a lot of my audience are kind of like entrepreneurs and like there's trends, right? And I think a lot of people's obsession with Hollywood is around director, not necessarily producer. And I try to challenge my people to rise up. In entrepreneurism, I bring up like, you need to start thinking more like a investor, a VC, an angel. Because once you have that perspective, it will make you a better entrepreneur. Same for a lot of people that may want to be great directors. Let's ask the producer some questions. With your skill and ability of all this time, can you personally enjoy watching a movie?
I'm smiling because it's a yes or
I'm good at my job.
Yeah.
Good at my job, but
Yes and no. And I'm not.
when is the last you went to the movies recently?
Yes, recently. Okay, I'll tell you why it's yes and partially no. When a straight up no would be like, nope, it's ruined for me. And maybe someone will say things are ruined because I'm thinking about work, right? So it's not no, because I don't mind work, right? And
No, I think you enjoy your work.
yeah,
That's
but I'm
fair.
saying, but I'm also amazed, and I'm still don't know when I watch a movie or a TV show, how do they do that? And not like, oh, how do they physically do that? Or how did that camera come down and get that shot? You know, I know there's so many different ways to do that, but like,
But doesn't that take you out of that experience?
but first, no, because I'm enjoying someone's art. It's like if you were a painter and you like knew a style, you're like, wow, I never would have thought to do it that way. But I look at things sometimes and I go, wow, what a legal nightmare, right? Look at all these kids in this shot. They had to like do, you know, had to have a teacher on set and all these different rules and how many hours they can work. The answer is yes.
Sorta, or depends.
No, it's not.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's no wrong, right?
It's not ruined for me at all. It's almost like I'm enjoying someone else's art form, you know. And I'm good at turning things off, you know. Like when I walk out of work, I'm done. Unless I'm in the midst of a project, then I'm a little obsessive.
Next question.
Yeah.
When you were coming along, did you have a mentor or sponsor that was a producer that told you before you got there, kind of set the seeds of like what you should be working on or what you should be thinking about?
Yes. And I have a great story for this. All right. So the particular person I'm thinking of, his name is Steve Stevens. When I was in college, I was working at a PBS station there, doing a show called Doctors on Call, you know. And so there was a piece of paper on the board, and it said, looking for PAs, you know, production assistants, to work on an MTV show called Fear. They didn't tell you what it was. It was a show called Fear when they put these kids in cameras back in the day and you scary places and scared the heck out of them. And so I pulled this tab, and it was like, I called and they said, come on down and do this to the work, do the job. So I drive my car out of Morgantown, West Virginia, to places in West Virginia I've never been to and probably never would go normally, and it was a prison, Moundsville State Prison. And I went there and I met with the first guy I met with, his name was Steve. And he was the producer at the time, and he was like, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and you're going to follow me around and help me with these different things. And he just commanded the room, very thorough. Everyone respected him. At the end of it, he's like, okay, great, you want to come back tomorrow? I thought I was just going to come for a day, put it on my resume. I was at a PA job on an MTV show. And I said, well, okay. And so I left and I parked my car, and I was going to sleep in it because I wanted the job that bad. He saw me, knocked on the door, and said, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I don't live around here. It's too far away to go home. I'm just figuring I'll crash a couple hours, come back to the work on. He said, no. Come with me. I'm going to stay in a hotel room. We got you a room, even if you sleep on the floor in there. Puts me in the room with this redheaded surfing guy named Brian. Barely know. It was all real awkward, you know. This is a while back, you know, back before that wasn't weird. And I didn't care. I was excited. Anyway, cut to 7 years later, I finished school. I finished that job. That's, you know, the lot going on in New Jersey at the time, New York, 9/11 happened, industry dried up. I picked up on a whim, never been to LA, moved to LA. Just try it out. Find my fate, you know, tell my parents if I don't want to lay on my deathbed and say would've, could've, should've. The first
Leap of faith.
The first call I had, or his email, was his email address. I haven't talked to him 6 years in between that. I emailed, he said, listen, I don't remember you. I remember the email address. I just remember that you were a hard worker. And meet me at my house, at the beach house, whatever, and see if you want to do it. I went there. He gave me a list of a bunch of different names. He got another job. 2 weeks later, he called me and gave me my first PA job in Los Angeles.
Get out. All
Right?
right.
Now, I would watch the things he did. He was philosophical about everything. I mean, if you didn't just get one bid on anything, right? It's like, find out who's a camera guy in Cleveland, and we're going to go there and shoot something, and find me a camera guy. I'm like, look, I got my camera guy. I found him. All right, cool. What happens if he gets sick or he doesn't answer the phone on day of? Do you have a backup? I had 2 of everything. And it was like Murphy's Law that something was going to go wrong, and every scenario, and it drove me nuts. When I finally took his job when he left, I climbed really quickly. I was just trying to do things, just one's good, but I got bit. They bit me a bunch of times, and I realized, anyway, personal friend, still to this day, he's coming here to do an event for the community, for first responders, firefighters, and all these things, a family fund. He did American Ninja Warrior, doing that.
Oh.
He wound up doing all this stuff. Still someone I call today. I still go out and have drinks with. I still hang out with. I consider him a friend. He was the first guy.
Invaluable.
The first guy that I saw meditate at lunch. You know, like that I realized that there was something to keeping his peace. So yes, an even funnier story just to end that. Brian, the redheaded surfer guy, he's my partner, an entrepreneur partner in building and buying studios for Hillcrest Studio Group. We've remained Facebook friends from that one day I slept in that room.
The surfer guy.
The surfer guy. We've remained Facebook friends all these years. I love what you're doing. I see what you're doing. He moved on, had a great career, built a company himself. He built Atlanta Metro Studios, sold that out, wanted to get into something else. And then we met for lunch and he's like, you're the type of partner I want to have. Same here. We have the same mindset. So it's like when you ask, what do I tell someone trying to get in the industry? I would sit down and tell these stories to PAs or interns in front of me, be like, everyone is a potential contact. Everyone is a potential funder from day one. And then when I also say, it is very particular to decisions that you make when you first start too. If you don't want to work in reality TV, and I know you're broke and you can't find a job and you want a job, don't take a job in reality TV, because once you get in, you're never getting out. You're going to find your people and you're going to go that lane. So I turned down tons of jobs until I wanted to do studio-based shows. I wanted to do talk shows, Real Time with Bill Maher type things, and Tavis Mowry, The Tonight Show. So when those jobs came up, it was hard, because man, I was broke and I was hurting, but I was like, if I go that route, I will never do this.
Just points.
People won't see that.
2 points. I want to break the fourth wall, talk to my audience on this. There's some very special gifts out of this discussion right now. There's one. I still talk every episode about mentors and sponsors, and what I see here from Tommy, guess what? The gift that his mentor gave him, he's now giving to other people, and this cycle continues. Second thing, I mean, I talk about network every day of your life, but the surfer guy came back. Segue to these sound stages. So now you took your surfer guy friend, who also was mentored by this other great person. You guys are looking to expand and do some business with this sound stage. Can you talk about it? I don't know. Maybe.
I could slightly. I could talk about it slightly. We're doing some consulting for different people right now, because they realize that we have it all. We have what we are. HSG, Hillcrest Studio Group, we're industry folks. We have done this. We're not institutional money. We're not real estate. We're former set designers, producers, writers. We understand what the client who comes in to rent these places, which is all the studios and movies, what they want. A couple years back, institutional money came flooding into this industry because it's lucrative. They realize you can charge big movies, Netflix, Instagram, Hulu, all these, a bunch of different money to pay there, and they jack up the rates. And then the people who were working there.
By the way, that was a golden era at the time.
It was the streaming wars, they call them, right? And so those were all usually family-owned places where when I signed a contract to go there, they would take you out for a martini and shake your hand, but they would also want to sit down and ask you, what are you doing? What's your project? How can I help? What can I take a couple of dollars off of here in order for you to reach your mark? I know they have to make money, but they also were a partner. Institutional money came in, big corporations bought this, slide the rate card across the thing. I don't care if you need an extra closet that you're using for an edit bay, it's still a closet, it's got 10 square feet, you're paying for it. It's like, man, you're killing me. It squeezed out independent films, small producers, almost to the point when the streaming wars, they could do that. And so it got so expensive, and now the whole thing's blown up. As everyone knows, Hollywood's in trouble. You have to have 3 legs of the stool: infrastructure, a tax incentive, and crew. There are cities that have great crews. There are cities that have great tax incentives. They just don't have a building. You put a building there, they will come. And so our philosophy in that is like to take back a little bit of the old philosophy of, because I know that when it comes to entrepreneurship, you're like, what are you doing that's different than everyone else? There's a bunch of buildings. People build buildings all the time, 4 walls, and they rent them out. Is we building? They would say purpose-built for this. We're building target-built. You don't need a gym. This is a factory. You don't need a gym. You don't need a spa. You don't need a movie theater at a studio. It's 4 walls that people go to work in. If you build all those things, who do you pass the cost on in order to pay back your investors? Client.
Twist of Fate podcast will be right back.
Are you an entrepreneur in training? Perhaps a business student seeking academic accreditation? Maybe you're a business leader trying to climb that mountain. See, I know I was one of them. Or perhaps you're a small business owner navigating the challenges economically of our time. Perhaps you're just a fan of the Twist of Fate podcast and myself, Doug Young. Well, today I have a proposition for you. Consider joining our exclusive premium membership subscription service called Twist of Fate Insights. You see, Twist of Fate Insights is an academic lecture series led by myself based on university curriculum that I've been developing as an adjunct professor over the last 5 years. For only $5 per month, you'll have access to this lecture series that will cover the areas of marketing, sales, innovation, and personal development. We have built this program around 4 key modules: where to play, how to win, when to adapt, and what to believe. Throughout these lectures, I'll be covering popular topics like AI and crypto 101. Also, how to fundraise like a champ, crowdfunding, and more. Twist of Fate Insights is my love letter to the special entrepreneurial community to make higher education more accessible, more affordable, and convenient for all. I hope you find your own twist of fate and the inspiration to make the world a better place.
And now, back to Twist of Fate podcast.
I really appreciate you sharing. What you're doing here is, your product market fit is at a key time and turning point in the entertainment industry. Because I agree with what you say. I know a lot of people in headlines will say that there's a creativity deficit. That is not the case. The ideas are still there, but to your point is, I talk about this on this podcast, nothing happens till you have working capital. And if all that investment goes away and the cost to make those movies is now astronomical, yeah, it's going to be the people that can come up with the solutions to bring that cost down. Those sound stages sound like a great idea to me.
Yeah, it's got to be, no one ever said, oh, where's the hot tub? No one ever said that when they walk on the soundstage. You know why they wouldn't know that? Because they're building them because they never actually worked on a set. And we're industry-based people, industry-based minded. And don't trust me, we have, another guy on our team has built stadiums and arenas and built these things, so knows how to build them. And another guy, on our team, of our 4-man team is the finance guy who knows how to put the models together to show you what you need to be able to charge. But it's got to be less. Everything is price-driven in this industry now. There are so many places and options to go. You're not going to pay $10 a square foot when you can pay $2 a square foot somewhere else.
Well, explains why all the production in California has moved. It's a lot cheaper, a lot of other places.
Well, California's also got another problem, I believe, with this is that labor is high, right? So part of the reason people are going to Budapest and things like that is people work for $100 a day, and it's all equal to them. It's not like you're getting labor that's slave labor, but it's No,
understood. They don't have the wage laws.
And California is out of control with that, and I don't blame the people for asking for it because you can't afford to live in a home or a basic apartment without asking for those wages. So they have a bigger problem than give me a big tax incentive. Bring all these different things, bring the cost down to the studio. You still have to pay. Everyone here is so much more expensive. It's the gap is getting close.
And disclaimer to my audience, this is not political. Like we're just bashing California. Like this is
no, it's not. It's not just California. It's everywhere in the United States. Yeah. Atlanta has the same problem now because people would say Atlanta was great to go to. Labor was cheaper. Everyone from New York and LA moved there and they expected those same salaries because the unions are. At a certain point. It's a very difficult problem, but here's the one thing I will say. Are you watching any less content today than you were 10 years ago? 5 years ago? Maybe you're a busy person.
No, much less.
Much less?
Yeah.
But you still enjoy your content?
Oh, no. I think we make the best content in the world. Right. It's just that, how do I say this? I've gotten, I don't know, in your older age, you get a little more cynical, you get a little more picky. Like, I am like an entertainment snob.
I'm not saying,
no,
I know.
I'm
I feel it, but
I'm going to disclose, like, there are special film going experiences for me that have changed my life. 1999's The Matrix. That's a film that showed me to think about a world without boundaries. And as a young, vulnerable college African-American man, I needed that type of perspective. Let's go do the impossible. Next up for me is Christopher Nolan's Inception. Original, non-franchise, like, I honestly didn't even know what the film was about. A dream within a dream. Again, I'm a snob. I want the best.
You're into the A24 movies. I can tell. Like that's.
This is where I'm going with your answer. I still feel is about a bunch of crap that's not giving me that experience. But just this year, I went to see Ryan Coogler's Sinners, and didn't watch a trailer. Me and the wife don't get to date night very often. My wife usually falls asleep in movies, to be true. I think that film was the first moment since Inception that truly blew me away. Like, I will never forget the smell in that theater. I will never forget the person in the row in front of me that stood up and gave me a high five. When certain scenes happen, I'll never forget. I'm not gonna spoil it for many of you, but I think that our filmmakers are the best in the world. Our creative teams are the best in the world. But to your point, we need some innovations to make the economies of making this quality of product. It's got to come back here.
I mean, we have to get off the IP obsession. That's the problem. It's like they could take a brilliant director like Nolan or Kubrick, and then tell them, you got to make the plant movie because plants are popular, right? It's like, and they're like, I don't want to make.
There's a lot.
But I'll give you a couple $1 million, hundreds of millions of dollars to do it. All right, I guess I'll make the plant movie. So it's like the A24 does a great job. They still make all the movies that are original. So I mean, we can go back and forth with this. Everybody out there understands this. But it's like, and it's a double-edged sword because the IP is already owned by these people, and you might as well use something you already had. This one less thing we have to buy and purchase. But maybe we should just stop doing it altogether. It hasn't really worked. Disney and Star Wars and,
Yes.
Right. You get it.
Don't worry, audience, I haven't forgot the game. I'm not going to let you off. Ask the producer. Another question. We didn't get to this.
Okay.
Knowing what you know now about being a producer, if you could talk to your young self, the same impressionable one that saw his job name under the credits, would you tell him still to follow through with being a producer?
It's funny because my wife and I always talk about, we have kids, definitely we're not going to get them into the arts. But if
Interesting already, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a labor of love.
It is a labor of love. It's they're like the reason I said that being a producer is a lot like an entrepreneur. And we've had partners in my company that I've started, and I've started other things, and we lose them because someone has a more conservative job their whole life. It might have been in finance or accounting, and then you're like they start this journey and they think it's going to happen overnight. And we lose them. They're like, yeah, my heart's not in it, and then they leave. They're no longer with the company because it's like being a producer. It's like the idea or the thought, especially freelance producers, that I may not get a paycheck next Friday. I get one every 2 weeks. That's what I'm used to. I have my 401k and I have that. It is scary, right? As an entrepreneur, I know
that pain all
right. I mean, you put your own money into things. You don't know if you're going to get back, but if you lose hope for a second, you're done, right? So it's like you're also working with different people, pulling pieces of the puzzle. Entrepreneurship and being a producer, they almost go hand in hand, which maybe those type of people can make it work. Is you don't know when the next paycheck's coming. You're only as good as the last thing you've done. You've got to constantly bring people into the fold who could do the job well, but also they're okay with taking a little less to start. Like producers are looking for an opportunity. So when you say if I had to tell it worked out for me. Now, if I was sitting here talking to you as something, even if I was sitting here talking to you in my company, which hopefully we're back here again in 2 years, 3 years from now, that's a huge success as well. And I've stepped away from production because I'm going to age out anyway. And I can say to yourself, would you done it? Yeah, because all that helped me get to where this was. But if, yeah, do it if you love it. And know, and find your lane, you find your people, you find your tribe, you know, and it's a great journey. But man, there are days when it's like, and I'll be honest with you, there are many times in my career when I'm like, I've thought about going, you know, working for the network, or maybe the steady paycheck every 2 weeks, and that, you know.
I don't think that's going to be very satisfying for you.
No, I think at this stage, now my wife and I are both like, maybe we should move to a small town. I'm like, yeah, but every night we go out, we see a play, we do a thing. I'm like, yeah, it sounds great because our siblings are doing it and everyone's doing it, but think about our lives like 3 weeks into that, and we're like, okay, I guess there's no.
Sounds like a nice vacation.
Yeah, I'm all about that, like for a nice vacation, nice island and quiet. But she's not so much the type of person who can even do that.
Here's my last game question for you, and this isn't from them, this is from me personally. I want to know. I spilled my guts to you about my entertainment snob tendencies and films that were ultimately impressionable to me because I think they said more than really what was on the storyboard or what was really there. It's asking bigger questions. Do you have any film going experience like that just changed your whole perspective?
I think more of mine would be more in a TV realm than a film, honestly. I mean, I guess film and TV are so closely related today ever since, you know, HBO changed the game many years ago. The Sopranos is like that for me.
Sopranos was a...
Well, actually, the truth of the matter is The Sopranos was done in my neighborhood. It was the first time, and I was young enough to be like walking around and be like, oh my God, what are all these people doing here? There's just two people talking. Why is there 600 people standing behind them, right? You know, it's like, and that was like all these different positions and things that you can do. But the writing in that and the storytelling and how you can do it long form and not just have to have, you know, I worry that people today can't do 2 hours. But you put me on the spot, so it's hard to think about all the movies.
You got to do it.
No, but I mean like Cinema Paradiso, right? Which is about filmmaking. But it was also about the love of it and something that someone can share with someone forever. You know, there's a young boy and his grandfather, you know, or Apocalypse Now, still one of my favorite movies of all time because there's just so much feeling. And
where were you when you saw Apocalypse Now?
Well, it was out way before I was young enough to be in the theater, but I was...
At home?
I was in a dorm room. I was
VHS, DVD?
VHS.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just remember thinking like, wow, like there's so much. And you're right, I can go, if you give me a time and we stop the cameras down, and I could probably come up with a list of them. Because so many of these did that, because there are so many things that, like you said, that conception is a much deeper thing. And someone on the surface will look at that movie and be like, oh, it's a crazy movie about buildings that could turn on their side, you know? But really it's like, there's much more to it. And The Matrix is one of those. And it was not an IP when it first started. When it became an IP, what happened to it?
Which is kind of happening to the industry right now. It's kind of the same thing. No,
and I'm not here to, I would, by no means I want to, the industry's got issues. It's got...
No. It's clear. You love that industry. I see it. I see the passion. This isn't like a hate, or this is a critique of an industry that has made all of our lives better, and we want to see it continue.
And it will. I don't think, and the reason I originally asked, are you watching any less? And you said yes. But the truth is, kids aren't, people aren't, content's still there. These studios will come back, but they're not going to come back the way we think they are. It's not with streamer wars. We're going to come back. We're going to come back to America when they shoot here, but I'm not paying this much money to use this. We just don't have it. You know, people are cutting the cords. Kids don't even watch TV. You know, they tried taking actors from streaming platforms, unless you're maybe Mr. Beast did it, but he's doing the same platform. And it's like, they put him in traditional television and film, and it flops. No one watches. They don't come from here to go watch there.
No. Tommy, my friend, this has been a special session with you.
I enjoyed this tremendously. I want to come back and do it again.
Amen to that, brother. I'll honor that commitment right in front of.
Well, we're really happy that you came to Vegas. And I think that you're going to find a lot of interesting people here, and you're going to find all different type of entrepreneurs and artists. It's just like the perfect place for it, the perfect mix, and no egos. Try doing this in LA, you're going to have to deal with a bunch of publicists first.
We are running into that right now. So no, I appreciate that. But my friend, if my audience, they're a fan of your work, and if they want to check out, like I assume IMDb, or is there a place that you have where it's like, come check out all my stuff? Like, is there a place that...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like everyone else, just go to at Tommy_Caprio on Instagram. I'm pretty much, that's kind of where you'll find me. And then you'll see me I'm in a lot of these pieces myself. I swim with a mermaid. I build a bot for battle bots that gets beat up pretty bad for it, So I'm in a lot of the segments, and I'll put that stuff on there, but you can also check it at Vegas All In PBS, at Vegas All In PBS too, on Instagram and YouTube and all the different things. And then, you'll see me around. You can IMDb somebody, but then you could look there and see all the other things I've done. Enjoy it. Anyway, this was awesome.
Fantastic, my friend.
I was nervous when I got here, but...
There's no reason for you to be nervous, my friend. With that, I'm going to go to my final thoughts. Tommy here has shared an incredible journey from being a production assistant to being a producer, and all the pain and struggle and insights, the people that brought him through to the end. And I think all of you should think about this in your own lives, even if you're not looking to get into entertainment, that the truth is you need to be authentic. You need to find the inner magic of whatever story you're trying to tell. That means in marketing or going beyond the box. And in this case, it's going beyond a film and trying to convey ideas in provocative ways. So if you like that, share, like, subscribe. We're trying to get stories about great American entrepreneurs making the world better out to you so that you can make your life better. With that, I'll leave you until the next Twist of Fate.
Twist of Fate is hosted by Doug Younger. It's produced by Julian Sepulveda and Zachary Davis at Mode of Motion Advertising and Film. Special thanks to all of our Patreon members. And if you want to be a part of our growing community, join our Patreon and get access to bonus material, Twist of Fate merch, and more. If you enjoyed this episode, please like the video, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.